Now the peninsular India, the physiography and structure and relief. First, the outer boundary of peninsular India. The shape is inverted triangle with base in the north. That is the present one, right? Surrounded from all sides by Aravalli Hills, Vindhyan Escarp, Eastern Ghat and Western Ghat. This is the outer outline of the peninsular plateau. Physiographically, it is the richest zone in terms of geology. Rock types starts from Archean till recent. Part of older Gondwana land. Right? The Gondwana land was a much bigger mass. So first India broke from Antarctica. That is during Cretaceous period. Till Cretaceous period, you can say that. Before Cretaceous period, it already broken from Antarctica. Then India was attached till Cretaceous period with Africa and Madagascar. So this breaking took place in between Cretaceous period till the Paleocene, Eocene period. That means the oldest part of peninsula must have been formed during Precambrian period. Right? Later addition during Cretaceous to Eocene or till Miocene. Miocene is the time of Himalayan formation, right? Middle Miocene. Things what have happened is the formation of Western Ghat, the formation of Deccan lava plateau, the two major areas formed in the Western Ghat only in terms of shape. Not the entire Western Ghat has been formed during this period. Yes, escarp formation. Right? Then after Eocene, till recent, peninsula experienced the isostatic adjustment which produced some of the host, for example Nilgiri. During the same period, reactivation of some of the pre-existing faults, resulting into mild earthquakes. Otherwise, it's a stable block, free from any horizontal movement within. So, when the peninsula was broken from Antarctica, most of the things have already been formed, right? Except the major one is the Deccan Lava Plateau, which was formed at the time of breaking from Africa and Madagascar. So, India must be around equator. If you join India with Madagascar, right, Madagascar will fit here, India will roughly fit here. Remember, India's direction was like this earlier, then it got it, and the present direction is basically because of anti-clockwise direction of the Indian plate, right? So when it was attached with it, you can imagine this. It was much, much bigger, right, than what it is right now. It was attached. The shape which is not coming in conjunction with the shape of Eastern Africa is the part which has broken and have subsided, faulted, right? And that faulting has taken place around 150 million years ago, which has formed Western Ghat. So, Precambrian, we have already divided that into the Indian perspective of geological history. During pre-continent, three major proto-continent or continental accretion nuclei were formed. One minor. Among the major was the Chota Nagpur Plateau, the Bundelkhand Plateau, the Karnataka Plateau. These things you'll have to keep in mind when we explain Western Ghat and formation that. Right? Later, these sediments produced from these proto-continents make up the first set of sedimentary rocks in India, popularly known as Dharwar system. Popularly known as Dharwar system. Popular known as Dharwar system. Right? Then Bastar nucleus helped join Chota Nagpur plateau gradually with the extended Karnataka plateau. The sediments were compressed and metamorphosed. That's why Dharwar system is the richest mineral zone in India. Pre-Dharwar period have seen 5 old geosynclines or geosynclines. Both. Number 1 is the Dharwar geosyncline, the second one is Eastern Ghat geosyncline, third one is Satpura geosyncline, fourth one is Aravali geosyncline, and fifth one is Delhi geosyncline. Near this region we have Bijawar syncline, right? I hope you understand geosyncline and geosyncline. All the portions you can imagine which were lying in between the proto-continent must have been geosynclines, right? Where the sedimentation will take place and that will be compressed gradually to form Eastern Ghat, right? And Eastern Ghat is not a true fold mountain in that sense. The way presently, because the convergence would not have been that severe and regular in the Precambrian period. Hopefully we understand, because the formation of the like mid-oceanic ridge like formation or upwelling of lava through fissure eruption would not have been that continuous and spatially confined. And because of that, most of the Eastern Ghats are basically a mountain, dome-shaped mountain, presently a residual mountain or relict mountain. So geographers differ from the concept that Eastern Ghats were basically a fold mountain. Right? During Dharwad and post-Dharwad period, there existed few transgradational seas. Number one is Kodappa, between Nilgiri, present Nilgiri to Andhra Pradesh, and extending even in MP. Then we have Vindhya, Aravali, present Aravali to Sasaram region of Bihar. And then we have Bijawar. Present parts of Son, Narmada and north of it. These were the seas intruding into the Indian area. Ocean intruding into the continental portion, transgradational seas, the oceanic areas which were lying in that, in between the continental area. That means continents were formed, but they were shallow, and because of shallowness, the ocean water intruded into it. That's what transgradational seas.
Is that the reason that's why you find so many limestone or sedimentary deposits?
Exactly, in between the whole of central India and north of central India, the central hilly regions, and in between that region. The sequential order of formation would start with first Dharwar, then you will have Aravali, Eastern Ghat, Satpura and Delhi orogeny. Here only two, Aravali and Delhi, which is an integral part or continuation of Aravali, is believed to have, all of the geographers converge and believe and accept that they must have been formed through the process of folding. The rest people are not very sure about whether Eastern Ghat, because Satpura is purely a block mountain and Eastern Ghat is mainly a dome-shaped mountain. And one very strong part of Eastern Ghat is structural and geographical discontinuity. Presenting that proves that they were not formed during same period through a similar process.
Orientation of folding depends on what factors? Like
The convergence, the direction of
orientation
convergence.
of system around like Aravalli range,
Mhm.
and if you take Himalayan range,
Hmm.
the folding orientation is किस पर डिपेंड करता है वो?
Uh,
जो रेंज का orientation है, उस पर
Direction of the range. That will be depend upon the direction of the converging zone. Suppose the convergence is like right now, then like this. So the Himalaya is like that. If convergence would have been like this, the Himalaya would have this direction. So the direction of any fold mountain will be dependent upon the way two plates are converging, the alignment of the two plates or the zone of convergence where they are actually converging. So that alignment will be parallel to the formation of fold mountains. Right? This is the brief geological history which will help you write a better answer. Geological history, I have already told that this is not mentioned anymore in the syllabus, so we don't need to go into the details of that, right? But a brief idea, पता नहीं कोई सन की आ जाए वो भी पूछ दे. Geological history से बगैर syllabus देखे भी बहुत सारे लोग क्वेश्चन बना देते हैं, तो उसमें से अगर पूछ दे तो still you have fair amount of idea कि what has happened in Precambrian period, right? What has happened till the Pangaea was breaking, what has majorly happened after the breaking of Pangaea, right? Now a brief survey of the peninsular plateau. We can correlate it with first order will be the entire peninsular plateau. Second order. What will be the second order areas? Yes. They start with Aravallis, Satpura, Vindhya. Right? Then Western Ghat, Eastern Ghat. These are the second order landforms. Deccan Lava Plateau, then we have Chota Nagpur Plateau. Majorly, if you explain these, including Karnataka Plateau. Sorry, there will be Karnataka Plateau. There will be Bundelkhand Plateau. There will be Malwa Plateau. Right? The third order landform among the major third order landforms will be the smaller features. Huh? Yes, smaller hills. Huh? Mount Abu, yes. Like everywhere, whatever you have. Like for example, in the Aravalli range, yes. Satpura mein, Maikal, Mahadevs. In Chota Nagpur Plateau, the Pat land. The Pat land is elevated portion relatively. Then Hundru waterfalls, third order landforms, right? Then in Deccan Lava Plateau, you will have Harishchandra, Ajanta range, Balaghat range, right? The Nilgiri will be the third order landforms. Then hills of Eastern Ghat, Javdi, Shevrai, Nallamalai, Nalkonda, Velikonda, all these will be the third order landforms. Hope we are getting that, right? Jog Fall, the passes along the Western Ghat, passes in the Aravalli, third order landforms. Smaller features होगा ना mountains की हम एक broadly बात कर दिए that will be the second order landform. Anything which is a smaller feature lying within the mountain, third order landforms. Whole continent. The first order landform, Salisbury, I hope you remember in the beginning itself we have talked about. Continents and oceans are first order landforms. Then broader features over the continents and oceans are second order landforms, like mountains, plateaus, plains on the continent, mid-oceanic ridges, trenches, abyssal hills, sea mounts on the oceans, and minor feature over that will be the third order landforms. Third order landforms are far higher in numbers over the continental areas as compared to the oceanic areas, because exogenetic forces are far more active over the continental areas as compared to the oceanic areas. Now start from the smaller features, starting from Aravallis. Look at here, Aravallis. It extends from its southern tip near Kathiawar Peninsula and goes all the way till Delhi, and some geographers even believe it approaches till Haridwar. Right? So the Aravalli mountains can be divided into three sections. You can keep on writing, please.
Bhiwani Bagar is a component of Aravalli, or it is itself an individual
Component of Aravallis. How it has been formed, will come to that. Bhiwani Bagar and then several Bagars, step-like features. So there are three components of Aravallis, and look at the direction northeast from northeast to southwest, right? So the northern portion is buried under the sediments of Ganga. Northern portion, northern component, north of Delhi till Haridwar. Which is buried under the sediments brought by rivers or brought by Ganga system. Central portion is the Delhi ridge and nearby areas. Highly discontinuous, eroded, very low lying. दिल्ली रीज से इधर साउथ की तरफ आएंगे. That is parts of Haryana where the Aravalli is not projected. The southern part of Haryana, or the border area of Haryana and Rajasthan. You look at here. Delhi starts almost from where? This is Delhi. Look at here, even on the map, the color doesn't indicate any of the mountainous feature. It is showing in green. That means it is low-lying area. So we are talking about till here, that Alwar, Narol area, Jhunjhunu area of Alwar, Jhunjhunu area of Rajasthan. But utna specific mein jana nahi hai humko. Central portion, Delhi ridge and surrounding area, which are low-lying with very less height of hardly 200 meters to 300 meters. Right? Then the projected portion around north portion of Rajasthan, border of Haryana, Rajasthan, till the border of Gujarat, Rajasthan. Here the Aravalli is relatively much more projected with average height reaching almost 800 to 900 meters, culminating into the Mount Abu. It was formed during the Hercynian Caledonian orogeny, that is Paleozoic era. It was formed during Hercynian Caledonian orogeny, that is Paleozoic era, and is a contemporary of Ural in Russia and Appalachian in USA. This is the oldest fold mountain of India. The oldest fold mountain of India, and is the only fold mountain over peninsular plateau. and is the only fold mountain over peninsular plateau. Steeper slope is lying along the western side. Indicated by the formation of large sandy tracts in Rajasthan and Kutch region.
Large sandy.
Tracts of Rajasthan and Kutch region. The western slope of Aravalli has a step-like feature because of the steeper slope cut down by several agents in the geological past. Was cut down by several agents in the geological past and is locally known as Bagar. It has played a very important role in the formation of Himalaya. Pushing the western Himalaya northward. Pushing the western Himalaya northward. एक चाय लेकर look at here the Malwa Plateau, right? Next is Malwa Plateau. Malwa Plateau is very significant structurally, especially geographically. Structurally, it is made up of lava. And surrounded from all sides by either hills or escarps. Surrounded from all sides by either hills or escarp. That is why it is the most densely peopled region, the most densely peopled area of the northern plateau, the entire northern plateau. You can mention, look at here, Bundelkhand Plateau. Then you have Vindhya range, this side Aravalli range, and this side Escarp, Vindhyan Escarp. So this is a relatively low-lying and flat area, which is unavailable in the nearby vicinity. That's why it is the most. That's why that portion of Madhya Pradesh has the highest density of population in MP. And the real population, in the sense that relatively much more developed. The moment you come this side, it is relatively occupied by the tribals. Western Madhya Pradesh, the Bhopal and all, is lying in this region. Right?
Tribal side western part, right?
Sorry?
Tribal area is the eastern or western part?
Tribal eastern Madhya Pradesh, and then Chhattisgarh part.
So western also like Chambal जो है.
तो चंबल becomes part of UP. चंबल में ये नहीं है, tribals नहीं है ज़्यादा. Chambal, because of very rugged topography, uneven topography, and high level of inaccessibility, Chambal is very infamous for the dacoits and all, the criminal activities. Huh? Obviously, that will be a part of the discussion in plain area, northern plain when we talk about. Right? So you can see there the Malwa plateau, this side Aravali, this side Bundelkhand, this side Vindhya, and then Vindhyan Scarp. Bundelkhand, the undulation. Here you have the Bihar types, Bundelkhand and north of it. Then Vindhya, Aravali's. So obviously a low-lying area, low-lying flat area of Malwa plateau. And that makes it relatively more suitable for inhabitation. ठीक है? Vindhyan Scarp is the northern fringe. You can write down, please. Vindhyan Scarp is the northern fringe of the peninsular plateau. Vindhyan Scarp is the northern fringe of the peninsular plateau, from where the plate subducts or bends to go deeper inside in the basement of Himalaya. And the northern plain, forming the basement of Himalaya and northern plain. So if we move deeper inside the northern plain, ultimately you will get Archean rocks. If you move deeper inside the Himalaya, ultimately you will get Archean rocks. So there are three zones, major zones of Archean rocks. One is exposed area is the whole peninsular plateau, and the two underlying area is in the northern plain and Himalayan region. Clear hai? Now the central hilly tracts consisting of Vindhya, Satpura, Narmada, Tapi Trough, then the isolated blocks of Mahadev Hills, Gwaligarh Hills, Makala Range, then you have Amarkantak culminating it. These all are believed to be part of Satpura only. Satpura. Sat means seven. Seven mountains. Extension of Satpura. They are basically block mountains and associated rift valleys formed during the breakup of present Indian part from Africa and Madagascar. This rifting has produced several structural valleys in the form of rift valleys all along the central India. When Africa was breaking from India, India was roughly lying close to equator. Right? The vegetation got buried into the graben and formed the coal seams or beds along these rivers. Rift Valley is also called graben. Horst and graben, Rift Valley and Block Mountain. So Block Mountain and Horst is technical difference is Horst is flat and Block Mountain is peak-like. Graben is slightly broader, Rift Valley is narrow. Leaving behind a series of block mountains like Vindhya, Satpura and Horst, like Amarkantak, Mahadev Hills. Look at here, the Satpura continues to Mahadev Hills, Maikala Range, Amarkantak Plateau. Then Garjhat becomes Eastern Ghat. Chota Nagpur Plateau is the older nucleus. And this is uplifted central normal part, and this is the Sinaic lice. I hope you remember Vindhyan geosynclines. So they were the relatively areas deposited by sedimentary rocks, right? So sedimentation, obviously, sedimentary rocks would be relatively weaker for any kind of upliftment or depression. And that's where the rich limestone and sandstone region. Deccan lava plateau. Large tracts spread over many states. Majorly in Maharashtra. Produced because of outpouring of lava, basaltic lava through a hot spot. Reunion, when it was detaching from Madagascar during Cretaceous to Paleocene. thickness of basalt goes even more than 3 kilometers and increases westward. This basaltic area has experienced differential erosion to produce several features. The two dominant features are the step-like feature along the river or stream area called Deccan Trap. That has made. Then second is leftover portion giving impression of a mountain. For example, Balaghat, Ajanta, Satmala, Harishchandra range. They are not mountains. They are basically the leftover portion because of differential erosion. Harder rocks, I hope we can recall, when the rocks of the surface are uniformly harder, then lateral erosion would be absent. Right? Once a furrow is created, that furrow will be deepened and then step-like features around that will be formed. Let's say suppose initially the area covered by a stream is this much, right? So the outer boundary is delineated. Thereafter the portion will be left almost untouched, right? So gradually the step-like feature will be formed and the river will be flowing in the central part in relatively narrow, deeper areas. Even the vertical erosion is relatively tougher, but lateral erosion will be completely absent in a flat area of that magnitude.
Because of the
Harder rocks, yes. Harder rocks and gentler slopes as well. Produces clay, black soil. Evidence in support of relief of peninsula. Not very rich in minerals. It spreads all along till the coasts and even beyond. But its eastern boundary is limited, where Eastern Ghats obstructs the lava flow eastward. Western Ghat. Not a mountain. A scarp formed due to faulting of western flank of the peninsular India. At the time of breaking of India from Africa around 150 million years ago. The faulted portion provides it a steeper slope along western section, western side rather, whereas the eastern one is gentler. Look at here, lava eruption and the formation of Western Ghat is roughly at the same time. In fact, Western Ghat formation is just after the Cretaceous period, that is lava eruption. The tilt goes all the way till the woven fracture fault in Arabian Sea. That is the outer boundary of present day Indian plate. Hope we understand it. That is here in the Arabian Sea. The outer boundary of peninsular India must be there, no? This is the ridge, the Carlsberg Ridge, Arabian Basin. This is the woven fracture fault around this Suleiman Kirthar, this way and this way it will go. This is the outer boundary of Indian plate. Right, starting from here till here, mid-Atlantic ridge and all. Yes.
Like cause for earthquake in Afghanistan and Suleiman Range in Pakistan.
Now you have asked two different questions. Whether it is an active fault, so yes, any boundary along which the plates are moving are active. So woven fracture fault is basically a transform fault. Right, a fault or in the sense of movement of plate tectonics, the third type. What was the third type movement? Convergent, divergent and conservative. Right? So that is there. Now, second question of yours was the earthquakes in Afghanistan or Pakistan. Now, that Afghanistan, Pakistan are the zone of convergence, where the continental plates are converging. The formation of Suleiman and Kirthar is also associated with that, of the extension of the Syntaxian bends. So that convergence zone is causing earthquake.
But the similarity margin can also create earthquake.
Yes, very much. But that would be confined to the Arabian Sea, not Afghanistan. That was the two different questions. Geographically, it is a continuous area, continuous zone. That means there is no discontinuity starting from south of Tapi river, goes all the way till Kanyakumari. Roughly Kanyakumari, that is ending in Cardamom Hills. Annamalai Hills. Which one? Kanyakumari. Structurally, Western Ghat is discontinuous as per the structure of the western flank of peninsular India. The dividing line is 16 degree north latitude. So if we have 16 degree north latitude, north of it is lying Deccan lava plateau. Ultimately, the entire plateau which has been formed, it has subsided. So whether it is Archean rocks or lava plateau, that will be making lava plateau. So northern portion is basically consisting of basaltic lava till Goa. That is part of Deccan lava plateau. Southern portion is basically made up of Archean and Dharwar rocks. Basically, the extension of Karnataka plateau. So obviously, this area will be rich in minerals. All the iron ore mines of Goa and Karnataka would be a part of this region. Yes. Structurally means geological हम बात कर रहे हैं. Yes. जैसे हम जोग्राफिकली की बात करते हैं, दैट इज फिजियोग्राफिकली. Physical features in one appearance is continuous. There is no breakage except few passes. Right? That's why passes of Western Ghats are very important zones of transport and communication. They're very significant. Thal Ghat, Bhor Ghat, Pal Ghat, the three major passes, and one small is Shenkota Gap. Eastern Ghat. Geographically as well as structurally discontinuous. Geographically discontinuous because of very long history of exogenetic forces. Huh? Differential erosion is not very paramount here. That's the fundamental difference between Deccan Lava Plateau and Eastern Ghat. It's basically giving passage to the rivers. And since rivers have a very, very long history, they have broadened itself and only isolated hills are found. And you have major rivers like geographically continuous, like if you see that a bit of continuity is existing along the area lying in between Godavari and Mahanadi. Now look at here, these are the informations not only for physiography but will give you details of area with different climatic conditions. Wherever the discontinuity is there, the leeward effect will be stronger. Wherever the discontinuity is not there, the oceanic influence will be deeper inside the continental areas.
So where discontinuity is there, leeward will be more.
Where there is discontinuity, leeward will not be more. Wherever there is continuous होगा तब न block करेगा. I might have slipped in my tongue slip. था क्या? अच्छा, उसी को confirm कर रहे. Thanks for being nice. तो उसमें जैसे continuity जहाँ पे भी होगा, if the range is very continuous, right? So obviously the blockage will be severe if they are isolated hills, pocket hills. So only the hillside will be having discontinuity, right? The Telangana, look at here. Telangana is dry, north of Godavari, between Godavari and Krishna basically. On north of that you have formation of Kalahandi region and all. And the rainfall will be, along the tracts will be higher. The severity of cyclones will be far deeper in the interior. Common sense की अब बात करते हैं कि ब्लॉक कभी मत रखना अपने माइंड को. जब भी पढ़ो इंटीग्रेशन करो उस चीज का कि इफ आई से दैट द इफेक्ट ऑफ साइक्लोन विल बी सीवियर far deeper in the interior of Andhra Pradesh as compared to Orissa due to discontinuity. Block करेगा hill उसको. So the coastal region will be experiencing much severe cyclone and its effect in Orissa and nearby area as compared to Andhra Pradesh. चूंकि उसकी सारी एनर्जी क्या हो रही है, कोस्ट पे ही खत्म हो रही है, छोटे एरिया में पूरी एनर्जी. एंड इफ इट इज स्प्रेडिंग, सपोज करो कि साइक्लोन का फॉल हुआ, द मोमेंट इट हिट्स द कॉन्टिनेंटल एरियाज इट फॉल्स, ब्रेक हो जाएगा बेस उसका. तो ब्रेक जब होगा तो उस वक्त विंड वेलोसिटी क्या हो जाएगी, बहुत हाई हो जाएगी. एंड इफ दैट विंड वेलोसिटी इज बीइंग ब्लॉक्ड बाय समथिंग, so the entire energy has to be exhausted within a very smaller area. That's why cyclones in Orissa is much more severe, and the nearby Andhra Pradesh, northern Andhra Pradesh, as compared to southern Andhra Pradesh or northern Tamil Nadu. Even the same intensity cyclone would produce differential results in different states associated with the landforms. Hope we're clear. Geographical discontinuity, it associated with 4 major rivers. Mahanadi, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri, apart from several smaller rivers. Structural discontinuity is associated with the formation of Eastern Ghat in different ages. All are formed in Precambrian period, but you have different ages. So you have Archean rocks, you have Dharwar, you have Kodappa, Kodappa is primarily confined in the Tamil Nadu area. That's called Charnockite series. उतना डिटेल में अगेन जियोलॉजी हो जाएगा, उसमें जाना नहीं है. बस वैरायटी ऑफ रॉक्स formed during different periods are responsible for the structural discontinuity of Eastern Ghat. Northern Sarkars. Sarkars are a kind of scarp. There's a little bit of a scarp, but not technically scarp. A steeply sloping area in the flat plain zone.
So what made Eastern Ghats structurally discontinuous?
रिकॉल करो, पहले छोटा नागपुर प्लेटू बना होगा, छोटा नागपुर प्लेटू के बाजू में सेडिमेंट्री रॉक्स जमा हुआ होगा, बीच में पूरा एरिया खाली है, एक बस्तर प्लेटू है, बस्तर प्लेटू और छोटा नागपुर प्लेटू के बीच में क्या होगा, सेडिमेंटेशन होगा, सेडिमेंटेशन का डिफॉर्मेशन होगा, मेटामॉर्फिज्म होगा. देन द तमिलनाडु अपलैंड्स एंड ऑल that must have been formed later, extension of Karnataka plateau, then isolated hills of projected lava. Right. Even in the sedimentation, if taking place in the oceanic areas, sedimentation taking place in the slightly elevated portion of submerged lava, so things will be different. So the whole formation of Eastern Ghat has taken a very long geological history. Right. Unlike, let's say, Chota Nagpur plateau is somewhat continuous. The geographical continuity of Western Ghat is because its formation is a sudden one, right? And this is one go. The entire Eastern Ghat has not the similar process of formation. Western Ghat is a faulted escarp. So अब कुछ भी यहाँ पे, मान लो कि मेरी उंगली में यहाँ पे तार लगा दो, यहाँ पे कुछ और लगा दो, यहाँ पे कुछ और ऐसे पड़ा हुआ, ऐसे गिर गया, तो ये तार वाली उंगली होगी, ये मिट्टी वाली उंगली होंगी, ये वाले होंगे. So that's why it is, Western Ghat is structurally discontinuous because of different reason. Again, the reason is the Deccan lava plateau has a different process of formation and different age of formation. Archean rocks, a Karnataka plateau has different age of formation and there are different process. So that's why structural discontinuity. But structural discontinuity of Western Ghat is not that discontinuous. There's only 2 zones you can define. But in Eastern Ghat you can have several zones. Right? For example, the southern one, Javdi and Shevrai. Javdi and Shevrai is very famous tin production region. Shevrai Hills. It's very small, isolated, dome shaped. Right? And if you look at Nallamalai, Velikonda, Palkonda, there is still a bit of projected land. Good elevated portion, long elongated elevated portion. Look at the nature of Garjat Hills, very ancient. Yet it has a very high peak, Mahendragiri Hills. Right? So that's why the different types of rocks, different types of area formed in different geological period. Precambrian is the longest one. 2/3 of the whole geological history is Precambrian. Hardly 1/3 is the post-Cambrian, Paleozoic and this thing. That's why the Precambrian, when we say Precambrian, we might include just one term, but it's the longest history in the history of the earth. Right? Chota Nagpur Plateau. The oldest nucleus of India. The oldest nucleus, then it is divided by Mahanadi river, Damodar river, Damodar into northern Chota Nagpur Plateau, that is called Hazaribagh Plateau, and then Ranchi Plateau. This is older and believed to be that's what we call Ranchi Peneplain. Predominantly Archean rocks, heavily metamorphosed. Right? For example, Dalma Hills in Ranchi Plateau is the oldest evidence of lava in India. Oldest evidence of lava in India is Dalma Hills. Later on, rejuvenation has produced several elevated lands in otherwise graded area, that is called Patlands, which is used as monadnocks or Inselbergs by the different cycle of erosion protagonist.
So rejuvenation in the form of upliftment?
Evidence of rejuvenation is there. For example, the presence of Hundru waterfalls near Ranchi. There are several such waterfalls, but the most prominent one is Hundru waterfalls. So Hundru waterfall itself is indicative of rejuvenation in the otherwise peneplain areas. Minerally richest zone of India, dominantly iron, all the metallic minerals you can imagine, but iron and coal is the most dominant one. The only well-known uranium mine in India, Jadugoda, mica, northern part of Chota Nagpur plateau, then dolomite, limestone, then even copper, a little bit of copper, but copper is more famous in Rajasthan, that Madhya Pradesh, western, that Bundelkhand area, and Khatri, Khatri region of Rajasthan. Then we have Karnataka plateau. Again, we have already talked about Karnataka plateau. The only difference here is the western section is the hilly region of Western Ghat known as Malnad. Hilly tracts of western section, and the eastern one is plain area, good for agriculture, is called Maidan. Malnad region is again many famous mining zones. This region is famous for agricultural activities. Again, dry zone agriculture falling into leeward areas. So Karnataka agriculture, you can imagine, is rain-fed agriculture, relatively semi-arid, and the crops will be of similar nature. Then we have Tamil Nadu uplands. Is a part of extension of Western Ghat, Eastern Ghats only. That is, especially the western section of Tamil Nadu is upland area. Eastern is again part of Eastern Coastal Plain. Nilgiri Hills is basically the convergence of Western and Eastern Ghats. Doda Beta is the highest peak, you just integrate with that. Then it is basically uplifted through isostatic adjustment during the formation of Himalaya. This is one assumption only, one explanation of the formation of. Then you have Anaimudi, the highest peak of peninsular India. Is a knot. From here you have Annamalai, Cardamom, Javdi, etc. radiate. Watch the atlas a bit of, try to find out every zones, find out the area which we cannot explain. I'll have a 5-minute break.
Sir, correct, it is Palni Hills.
Palni Hills, sorry. No, Javdi नहीं, Palni Hills. Cardamom, Palni और Annamalai. शुरू हो गया? Okay. Javdi Hills is not a part of that knot, right? Palni Hills. Eastern Ghat. Peninsular Plateau, hopefully you can handle the questions. General survey, right? Then third order landforms, second order landforms, right? The importance of Peninsular Plateau with economic importance, geological importance, geographical importance. Three basic sections you can divide. Geographical importance obviously provides big land mass for inhabitation. Economic importance, agriculture, water resources, then hydroelectricity project. Geological importance, richness of rocks, richness of soils, variety of rocks. Then climatic importance with respect to rainfall and all, temperature conditions, landforms, geographical importance हो जाएगा. तो बहुत सारे आपके पास इंफॉर्मेशन है. तो एनीथिंग रिलेटेड टू पेनिनसुलर प्लेटू माइंड ब्लॉक मत करना कि ये क्वेश्चन हमने सुना नहीं है या ये वाला पार्ट नहीं किया है, बिकॉज द ट्विस्टेड फॉर्म ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस में बी गिविंग यू इंप्रेशन दैट कि हमने ये पढ़ा नहीं है, जबकि कोई भी ऐसी चीज, कोई भी ऐसा क्वेश्चन पेनिनसुलर प्लेटू का नहीं हो सकता है जो हमने नहीं पढ़ा है. क्लाइमेट में कर सकते हैं. इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ मानसून, लाइक मानसून, इट हैज लॉट ऑफ इम्पैक्ट इन टर्म्स ऑफ स्पेशली द पोस्ट मानसून फिनोमेना. For arrival it may not be playing much bigger role, but after it arrives, so all the landforms produces variation in the amount of rainfall, then nature of rocks related with water resources. तो उस तरह की चीजें हम नेगेटिव पॉजिटिव में लेकर के इसके इम्पोर्टेंस की हम बात कर सकते हैं. इकोनॉमिक में भी आ जाएगा, प्लस जो कोई जरूरी नहीं कि उसको हम इकोनॉमिक लाइन हेडलाइन दे करके करें. दिमाग में ये रखना है, तो उससे क्या होगा, वैरायटी ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन मिल जाएगा. दिमाग में ये रखना है कि हमको तीन एस्पेक्ट में बेसिकली ये करना है. वो सोशल भी डाल सकते हैं हम, कल्चरल भी डाल सकते हैं. द रिलेटिवली inaccessible area is occupied primarily by tribals, so that is also social diversity. Regional disparity. Peninsular Plateau is relatively not very important for agricultural activities. Historically, humans are more related with agricultural activities. So the dominant section always occupied the area of northern plain. Earlier it was occupied by Dravidians. When Aryans came, they were pushed back towards Peninsular Plateau. No. Feeling bad? This is part and parcel of evolution of human. There is nothing bad about it. एक बाप बेटे में भी वही चीज होती है, नहीं? Aurangzeb has confined his own father, killed several brothers. Ashoka supposedly killed 99 of his brothers. So when political things are taken, at least well-educated section should not shy about it, whether accepting or the reality, the fact. That's always the economic rivalry. That happens between siblings also. ठीक है, मम्मी ने 2 चॉकलेट उसको दे दिया और मुझे एक ही चॉकलेट दे दिया. मम्मी से नफरत शुरू हो गई, अंदर अंदर रखे हुए हैं. नहीं हो जाती. लुक एट दी सोशल कंडीशंस. आई एम लाइक साइकोलॉजिकल ह्यूमन. गर्ल्स और द डॉटर्स विल ऑलवेज बी मोर एसोसिएटेड इन जनरल विद फादर्स एंड सन्स एंड मदर्स. अगेन सोशल सिक्योरिटी, सेंस ऑफ सोशल सिक्योरिटी, सेंस ऑफ बिलोंगिंग, एकदम डायरेक्ट रिलेशन है इन सब चीजों का. दूसरी को छोड़ दो, इतने क्लोज रिश्ते में भी आपको राइवलरी होती है. राइट. अगर माइक ऑन नहीं होता तो मैं एक एग्जांपल देता अपने बिल्कुल नहीं खाए, इकट्ठे खाए तो दबा के खाए. तो मतलब छोटी छोटी चीजें होती हैं, बट यू हैव सच सो मेनी प्रॉब्लम्स एसोसिएटेड विद दैट. ऑन कर दे. पर्सनल रिलेटेड कुछ नहीं है ना. डेक्कन प्लेटो, हाँ, फिशर इरप्शन नहीं, हॉट स्पॉट वॉल्केनो. हाँ बताइए. मिनरल्स की बात कर रहा है. नहीं, all the rocks contain minerals, but when we talk about mineral zones, that means mining area, that means ore related. ore related area. Ore is basically an area with concentration of a particular type of mineral, and that is produced because of exogenetic forces. Right? So concentration of minerals will generally be in a land form, will be confined much lower as compared to the upper part. Now any area which is elevated like this, hilly or mountainous tracts, will be much more vulnerable for external forces. Any flat area will be less vulnerable for forces. जैसे एक माउंटेन के 1000 मीटर को गिराने में जितना टाइम लगेगा, उससे 50 गुना टाइम में भी शायद एक उसका आधा नहीं खोद पाए अगर प्लेन एरिया है तो. So the bottom exposure, which is the primary reason behind the mineral extraction or mineral deposition, is least possible in a flat area. That's why the lava plateau, or that's why the minerals like the sedimentary deposits in the plain areas are least important with respect to minerals. Plains में तो फिर भी हो जाता है, जिसको placer deposits बोलते हैं. Placer deposits हम लोग बाद में बात करेंगे. Placer deposits मतलब ऊपर से ही खोद के मिल जाती है चीजें, उसको placer deposits. So you will have to filter out. Right? In the case of lava, the rocks are so hard that you cannot even filter out. Getting that point? So unless until the bottom of an area is exposed, it will not be mineral rich. Northern plain. One thing is I wanted to tell you that all the classes of economy are compulsory for you all. Classes of economy will be compulsory for you all, because like थोड़ा सा financial aspect और जो banking system, money system है, वो बहुत ज़्यादा important directly नहीं दिखे, but that will be very very helpful in dealing with the second paper. Second paper is purely economic geography. First paper में भी जो part है economic geography का, if you are very close to that of economic aspect, apart from what I am taking, the rest also is compulsory for you all. That is treated as a part of geography optional.
Starting from which day?
Today onward. No, don't worry. That will be managed. We'll manage that so that you guys don't leave that class. ठीक है? Northern plain. The largest plain area on the surface of the earth. Formed over a 4 deep, produced by the convergence of two continental plates. ड्रेनेज सिस्टम हम लोग कर चुके हैं ना इंडिया का. कॉन्टिनेंटल प्लेट्स, हाँ 4 डीप. 4 डीप मतलब डिप्रेशन वाला एरिया. टॉप और सरफेस एरिया is covered with thick sedimentary rocks. Basement is made up of, yes, basement is made up of Archean age crystalline rocks and is a part of Indian peninsula. General survey of northern plain. First is Indus plain, then we have Ganga plain, then we have Brahmaputra plain, then we have Western plain. All these three, basically Ganga plain and Brahmaputra plain, is a part of the four deep. Western plain is basically deposition in the ocean. Sediments of Aravallis. Right? The real four deep is the Brahmaputra plain and Ganga plain. Then Indus plain is basically the part of Punjab, Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir, is a part of four deep plus oceanic deposition by the Indus and its tributaries. Covers the area of Punjab, Haryana, plains of Himachal and Jammu and Kashmir. Ganga plain, parts of West Bengal, UP, Bihar, and plains of Uttarakhand. Brahmaputra plain, purely Assam plain by the river Brahmaputra and its system. Western plain, basically Rajasthan and Gujarat plain, that to Kutch area. Kathiawar Peninsula is a part of peninsular plateau that is mixed with lava and crystalline rocks. Some part is Deccan lava plateau, some part is the older Archean crystalline rocks. Start with Ganga plain. That is further divided into lower Ganga plain, middle Ganga plain, and upper Ganga plain. The division is primarily based on rainfall decreasing towards west. Decreasing rainfall affects the type of sediments, affects the number of tributaries, affects the width of floodplain, which is decreasing or increasing towards west. You can explain the reason also here. Will increase towards west. Width of Ganga plain increases towards west. You can explain the reason also. The four deep of western part would be much wider as compared to the eastern part. Why? The way Indian plate has collided against the Tibetan plate.
Sir, can you again explain what is 4D?
फोर डीप जो उसको हम ट्रेंच बोलते थे ना, उसको यहाँ पे फोर डीप बोल रहे हैं बस. Getting that? 4 deep. So the moment peninsular plateau bends, it will create a depression. 4 means frontal depression. So front of peninsular plateau, you have a depression called 4 deep. Lower Ganga plain is a part of West Bengal plain and Eastern Bihar plain. Now the division is primarily based on agroclimatic condition. This lower, middle and upper Ganga plain is based on agroclimatic conditions. Middle is basically the Eastern Bihar, Western Bihar plus Eastern UP. Upper Ganga plain is basically Western UP plus parts of Uttarakhand. Sorry, Western Bihar. Here we will have Western Bihar plus Eastern UP. Western part is broader than Eastern part. The way we have discussed about the Indian plate colliding against it, so this is smooth, this thing, bending, and just normal bending. So that the 4 deep has created whatever width, forget about. Now the Indian plate is moving much faster rate. So the 4 deep will be narrowed down. Yes, compressed, and then area, and the bending will be much sharper. As compared to bending will be relatively gentler in the western side. Here the bending, because the compressive force is very strong, so this will be pushed further. Can you imagine it? Like
just like a door, we are just shutting the door.
Shutting the door, so impact will be more. So when the impact is more, this will be much steeper, and because of being steeper, this will be narrow and deep also. Yes, Vikram, you were saying something.
I was saying that the position is more towards east. So we are talking about the mainly plain, flood plain. Flood plain, right?
Flood plain will be wider in the case of western side as compared to eastern side. The entire plain, width of the plain.
No, but when we read the valley bending,
Hmm.
it increases to its upper to lower coast,
Why?
given valley.
But provided the opportunity is there. The valley must be having enough amount of space to widen itself. If you have a border which is very strict wall right here, so the outer boundary of the possible river expansion will be limited by the 2 plates. One side is the mountain, another side is the margin of the continental plate. So look at the margin of the continental plate, which intrudes almost till Bengal. Had the Meghalaya plateau been not broken and moved out, this would have been much narrower. And look at the Bengal plain, which is really very narrow here. It widens here basically because of deltaic formation. Otherwise, if you see, very narrow here. So that 4 deep is narrowest near Rajmahal Hills and widest near Aravali,
Sir, it is a
east
zone,
of
right?
Aravali.
40 is a zone,
4 deep is a zone.
not a valley or kind of.
No, it's a zone. 4 deep will be entire zone, not the narrowest part of that depression. The entire zone. If the wider zone of 4 deep is there, so obviously the deposition will take place in a much wider area. Now the thickness of the sediments would be higher in the east, thickness of sediments in Ganga plain would be higher in the east as compared to west. Correlate कर सकते हैं हम लोग. हाँ, the depth, greater depth, more thickness. Got it? चेहरे से नहीं लग रहा था तुम्हारे. ठीक है? We'll discuss it tomorrow. We'll finish out the physiography.